Greetings and salutations, gamers. Welcome to Cast Co-op, the podcast in which three podcast hosts cast together. I am one of your hosts, Luke Lore, the Insipid Ghost, and host of the Xbox Expansion Pass, joined by my big brother and yours, Captain Handsome himself, Mr. Ainsley Bowden. Ains, how are you, man?
Captain Handsome.
You tweeted it. I didn't.
That's not gonna stick. I forgot my poker chips, boys. I don't have them with me. It's a shame. It's a shame.
The quarter century 25th episode extravaganza, and you don't have the poker chips.
I'm telling you, I'm not prepared.
Does this show mean nothing to you?
Yeah.
25 episodes of this shit show, boys.
I know. I can't remember a single episode.
We did it. I'm really proud of us. You know, our goal was to get to 25, and now we're done.
This is it.
You know, we did it.
Yeah.
My goal is to get to episode 50, have someone do a montage of me just owning Luke over and over again.
All my faces where I'm just like,
exactly. Insert Fallout guy here.
My goal was to be the most popular seasoned gaming podcast, and then you had to bring other people into Bitcast, and it was like, come on. All right. You know, we were on our way. We were there.
No, we weren't.
No, we were not.
Oh, what the hell, man? Well, I guess it's a good time to introduce Joseph Moran, host of The Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast. Mr. Badbit, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. I'm really tired. I've been tired for like 3 days straight.
Podcast. I appreciate that. It's good.
Yeah. Well, you know what I got? It's kind of show and tell. Look at this bad boy.
Oh, yeah.
Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I don't think it's little.
No, this thing's massive, but it's nice, man. It's comfortable. I don't get like the hand fatigue almost ever. Like it takes a minute for that to really kick in. This thing's awesome.
How many hours a day are you playing it right now?
Oh, like 1 or 2. Not too crazy. I play it in bed, naked. I'm loving it. I just downloaded Vampire Survivors, which is like a huge game on Steam right now. And on the Twitch. So, you know, I'm just trying to get to understand the PC ecosystem a little bit more.
Is that the Battle Royale one?
No, it's like a roguelike. It's Blood Hunt, yeah.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
it looks
cool,
good,
man.
though.
Yeah? It only makes me miss the Vita and wish the Switch was more powerful, you know?
Yeah, I know. Because I have been playing PlayStation Plus, like remote play or whatever, on the Steam Deck, because there's a little hack of how to get it working on the Steam Deck and through the OS naturally. And it's finicky because it is like a third-party app. But when it works, holy crap. Like, people are like, do you notice any lag? I'm like, no, it's nice. It feels really good. I was able to play like the first level of Bloodborne, like, without dying.
That's cool.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Than you do on your PS5.
Yeah. And on Xbox Game Pass, I was playing xCloud on it as well.
Nice.
It's a good app, man. It's a great app.
Yeah. Is it working well on the Steam Deck just as far as like cleanly starting it up?
I think it works well enough to like it's not. I feel a little bit of input lag, but not like a whole lot that like deters me from much. I was able to play Forza Horizon, and I was actually kind of stunned of like how well the game actually looks, and how like it's not stuttering. You know, again, a little bit of input lag, but like I'll deal with it. So I'm liking it a lot, and that's what I'm kind of wanting the Steam Deck to be, is like my PlayStation away from PlayStation and my Xbox away from my Xbox, and then having a few little like obscure indie games on Steam to play. So naturally I played Elden Ring.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, I cut you off. You good?
Oh no, I played Elden Ring on it, and the battery life is like 2 to 3 hours if you're lucky.
Gotcha. Every time I've used xCloud, I notice the input lag, but it's very quickly adjusted. Like when I can play Gears 5 comfortably, like get the active reloads down and stuff. It's just a quick like 2-minute adjustment, and then I'm good. Did you notice something similar with Steam Deck?
No, but now that you said it, I'll take a closer look at it. That's for sure. Yeah, because now, see, my whole stop with it as well is like Game Pass is the thing that I test out the games that I may want to play or may be interested in, and then I go and I buy them on PlayStation. Is usually where I'm at. So I'm right now kind of stalking because Luke, you saw my rage at Xbox a few days ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Learn how to make an HDMI
real.
port. All right. I have to send this thing back and waiting for a box.
Oh,
the HDMI port is not working well.
On your Series X?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That sucks.
Yeah. I'm just getting like a black screen. I got to like jingle it a couple of times and pray to God it works. So I'll be without an Xbox for God knows how long. Hopefully not long, but.
Which was frustrating because we were trying to play Halo. And it put him in a bad mood before he played. And then that throws you off. You know what I mean? Like, you can't focus when you're frustrated with your tech.
No, he's bad enough even with focus. So.
Oh, okay. It's all right. You old piece of shit. That's all I got for him right now.
It's a go-to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate that you're having that before season 2 drops because that's what I was excited to play with season 2 of Halo. And
the returns should be pretty quick. Like I've known a few people have gotten them repaired and it's like within a week. So I don't think you'll be too far behind.
That's good.
Is Joe frozen?
Joe is frozen.
I think Joe's frozen.
Nice. Let's talk about him. Ugly kid. Ugly kid. Honestly, every time it's fun, dude. Real talk. Every time he starts to get on his BS about PlayStation being the best, his Xbox starts to act up, and I feel like it's intentional.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't even believe him. You know,
half the time. I mean, he's just full. He's just full. And again, I go back to ugly. Well, I don't want to start our main topics, Ains, before he gets back and fixed because it'll take him a while before he realizes it. What are you playing lately, man?
Yeah, man. So I had well, there you go. That looks great for the audience. Good job, Joe.
I look fantastic, honestly. Look at this hair.
We'll do this real quick.
Sure.
So I am playing Rogue Legacy 2 for review, and I can say that I'm playing it. I can't really talk about it. The embargo is a couple days as we're recording. Comes out the end of this week as we're recording or as you're watching this. And if you haven't played Rogue Legacy, it is a 2D. It is a 2D, and now we're backwards.
Okay. He's got it. Look at it.
Welcome to the awesome show, everyone.
You're ruining
25th. Blame Verizon, man.
Rogue Legacy is a roguelite. Came out actually quite a few years ago now. I think like 4 or 5 years ago. It's actually my favorite roguelite of all time. It's fantastic 2D gameplay, like classic 2D gameplay, super smooth, very challenging. And you do every run, you can gain permanent upgrades, and you decide what upgrades you do. So it's not one of those games where like you'll do a 20-minute run and you get a random upgrade and you're like, I don't even want that, doesn't do anything for me. So it's really well designed, and 2 so far just builds heavily upon 1. If you liked 1, you're gonna love 2. So I'm excited to talk more about that. But other than that, not too much. I'm gonna be diving back into Halo pretty hardcore here soon. There's a good weekly reward this week I want to get, and then season 2's next week. So it'll be back to Halo most of the time for me going forward.
Cool.
Cool.
For the next 6 months.
Joe, before we go into our big topic, are you playing anything right now that's piquing your interest?
Other than your mother, I'm only playing Nobody Saves the World.
Joe's like, it looks like I was wondering where she was. She said she was going to be home.
That's right.
She left.
That's right. I know. I've been playing Nobody Saves the World, and it's fantastic.
Awesome.
It's fantastic, man. This is like, honestly, because I've never been a huge fan of like the 2D Zeldas. This is easily my favorite. Like, the writing does not take itself seriously. It is super funny. It is super witty, and it's just a whole lot of fun. It has like the same art styles of like I think the show was named like Kablam back in like Nickelodeon. It was like, it's really weird and out there. Like, think of kind of Ren and Stimpy-ish. And pretty much the whole premise of the game is like, you're taking over, you're a nobody. We don't know what you are exactly, but you have a wizard's wand you're trying to find. And this wand is able to turn you into various different, not just people, but animals and like objects. So 1 minute you're a knight, next minute you're an archer. You have the power of an archer, you have power of a knight, and then all of a sudden you have the power of a rat. which is like poison and just all about those dots and DPS. You have like a snail and he shoots just slug like crap at you, but it turns into like one of those like classic like shmups almost in the way it fights. Every class feels super unique, and to top it all off, you're still able to also take powers from other classes that you've unlocked to place it. So I could be a rat, but I could be shooting a bow like an archer. I could be a knight, and I could be, doing magic like a wizard. So there's a lot of combos that you could kind of chain to kind of fight your enemies or go through and clear out dungeons. So I'm really liking it a lot. It's probably my favorite indie this year. Mm-hmm. Totally digging it. Go pick it up.
Did you play Tunic?
I played very little of it. That's one I do need to get to.
Okay. Second question: is it Drinkbox that makes it?
Yep.
Is that the one? Okay.
Yep. Guacamelee cool. Severed. Yeah. Gotcha. This is my first Drinkbox game, by the way, and I can now totally understand why it's there.
Drinkbox are awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I played the demo of that when it released because I was really looking forward to it. It is awesome. I've had the full game installed since it came out, and I just I have very little time in it, so it's one of those I got to get back to. But by all accounts, everyone really enjoys it.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Great indies this year, man. Jeez.
Dude, so good. Like, I want to put up a post on the trophy room. Like, we all know what the game of the year is, but, like, the indie category this year is going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Because they're all so great.
What are our big ones?
You have Tunic. You have Nobody Saves the World. Mm-hmm. I promise you Rogue Legacy 2 will be up there.
Trek to Yomi.
Yeah, Trek to Yomi looks good. Seafood's excellent.
Yet. I have a fear about Trek to Yomi. I'm worried about that one. It looks fantastic. I'm just worried it's going to play clunky.
It could.
But I don't know that. You know what I mean? Like I've not played it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking
Kyle was at PAX exposing himself at a super spreader event, and he said,
all these poor people, I don't know how I got it.
I was so safe. I was just in a crowd of hundreds, and we're all coughing to greet each other right in our mouths directly.
A lot of hugging.
Yeah. So, he played Trek to Yomi. He's like, Joe, you are going to love this game. Like, so I am all in. I trust that little nerd's, credentials when he's talking about an indie.
Yeah, so and it's your kind of game. You know what I mean? Like it's your kind of game.
Yeah.
So that's cool, man. Well, I'm looking forward to Trek to Yomi coming out for sure. That's like on one of my like most anticipated. I'm on this weird nostalgic kick where I'm playing Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, and I'm looking forward to Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection and to Shredder's Revenge. Like I loved those games as a kid, and I am so ready for them to come out. And they're not indie per se, but Shredder's Revenge kind of is because it's Dotemu. Dotemu. I don't know how to pronounce their name. And
I think it's Dotemu or something like that. But I know what you mean.
Yeah. And so those are among my most anticipated games this year, just to play. And like, I don't know if you guys ever do this, but like I'm doing the thing where I'm watching videos, kickback nostalgic videos. Like, all right, like, what was this game like way back when it was new? What do people think about it in retro reviews now? And that's always, I think, fun to kind of go down that rabbit hole. And I often watch reviews to games that I'm playing after I've played it. Like I went and watched the Elden Ring reviews after I knew what I thought of the game, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that too.
I think when people try to play the NES TMNT game, it's going to be hilarious because that game is a mess and brutal.
Yeah.
And they're not going to know what hit them if they haven't played it before.
Man, I'm looking forward to like the where you get infinite lives and just getting to play through them.
Yeah,
as a kid, I only got to see parts of those games, right? I wasn't good enough to play them, or if they were in the arcade, like we didn't have a lot of money. I usually got a quarter, and that lasted maybe 2 levels.
Dude, Turtles in Time, I played endlessly on Super Nintendo, man. Like, I mean, endlessly. We played that beginning to end countless times.
It is.
I just wish it had online co-op, man. I wish.
Some of them do. Some of them, I think that one's going to. I think that one is going to.
Really? I could have sworn I read they didn't. Shit.
Certain ones I believe are going to. Now, I don't have it in front of me, right? But certain ones are going to have the ability to do that.
Sweet.
And remember, I mean, I talked to Stephen Frost from Digital Eclipse literally because of I discovered Digital Eclipse because of the Cowabunga collection, and then realized I'd been playing their other collections like Mega Man and other stuff. But I believe some of them are going to have online play, others will not.
Looking it up right now. So, in addition, online co-op. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, 4 players. Turtles in Time, 4 players. Let's go.
There you go.
The Sega Genesis Hyperstone Heist is 2 players. So
Okay.
3 of them have online multiplayer, Turtles in Time and the arcade game, which is amazing. We are rocking those together, boys.
Yes. So Hyperstone Heist is actually a combination of the arcade game and Turtles in Time. That they were mixed. They used the assets from those games and then chopped them up and then created its own Sega Genesis version.
They used to do that in the 16-bit era. The Super Nintendo and Genesis would get licensed games from the same license, but the games would be like slightly different. It was very interesting back then how that would work.
Yeah, I'm stoked for it, excited for it. And it's
sweet.
It's nice because we don't have a lot of big things to look forward to this year. You know what I mean? Like we have Starfield and possibly God of War. I'm looking forward to Batman or Gotham Knights rather down later on this year. But you know, a lot of these games are getting pushed out of 2023. So, you know, here we are in the end of April and we've had some heavy hitters drop and it looks like we're in for a quiet period for quite a few months, which is
so where the indies come in.
That's indies and backlog.
And honestly, like it's going to be even quieter when PlayStation dies.
Now, PlayStation is going to die.
Right.
Joe, this might be news to you, bud. I'm not sure if you're aware, but
Jesus
Microsoft had their best quarter.
In
years.
How many years?
Oh gosh, so many years. It was their
best.
Let's see. Let me read some stuff. I'm going to read from VeggieTales Twitter on this one. In a Microsoft earnings call, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, the Xbox Series S and X gained global market share in the past 2 quarters in a row. Xbox Series S and X this past quarter were the best-selling new generation consoles in the United States, Canada, the UK, and Western Europe. That is monstrous. Game Pass hours are up 45% over the last 12 months. Hardware sales exceeding expectations. Biggest non-holiday quarter ever in Xbox revenue, which is fantastic. And I mean, I could go on. There are a lot of intense breakdowns. Ains, I don't know if any numbers specifically stood out to you, but
I saw someone went back when Xbox used to post numbers of months, and their best March previously during the 360 era was something like 460,000 consoles or something. So obviously, what they're saying is it's more than that in 1 month, and the estimates I think put it at like 550, which 550,000 Xboxes sold in March without any game release. That's wild. Absolutely wild.
Yeah.
PlayStation's dead. You heard it here first.
So I guess that's the logical question. Joe and I had this conversation briefly in a couple gaming sessions a couple hours ago. Joe, because you host the PlayStation podcast and you're likely to get this question quite a bit, I'll ask it to you. What does it mean for PlayStation that Microsoft destroyed them in the last quarter?
Well, thank you, Larry David. I appreciate this question. It means that Xbox is doing good, right? Like they have, not to say solved it, but it looks like their supply chain is doing a-okay. I bet being Microsoft and you're asking for things and components, probably you get an advantage when it comes to people giving you stuff. And so they're able to put together more boxes, put them on shelves, and that is what is selling. I think Game Pass is appealing. I think it's going to start reaching that, common consumer rather soon. And I think that Xbox is being way more competitive than they've ever been. And I think that's great for gamers. That's I think what I like to see as the quote unquote PlayStation fan is for the last generation, it was not close. It was just PlayStation dominated month in, month out. Game number 1 comes out, everybody loves it. Game number 2 comes out, everybody loves it. Cycle repeats. This is different. We're seeing an Xbox that is way more competitive and maybe even competitive enough to where it's caught Sony off guard, because I feel like as a Sony fan, they are once again way too silent. It's been like a month and a half since you talked, it seemed, or it seems. And so for me, on one hand, this is going to force PlayStation to be competitive. On the other hand, in the moment right now, I am wondering what's going on behind the Sony's, the walls of Sony HQ right now, as they did have a comfortable lead and market share in this industry. And now it looks like that's going to be really contested this time around. And how is Sony going to look at PlayStation as Microsoft continues to gain ground, which they will. I think it's going to be a very competitive generation this time around.
Ains, do you think that any of the games that Sony has gotten over the last few months justify them being silent? And then follow-up question to that, some of their exclusives were Microsoft made, given thinking about like Deathloop. That a big deal anyway?
I don't know. I don't know. I think PlayStation is so strong in so many different global markets that news of their death has been greatly exaggerated. So I think they're fine. I think what we're seeing is that both of these companies are evolving. We've been watching Xbox and Microsoft evolve for years now, talking about acquisitions, and we still haven't seen games from their 2018 acquisitions, right? Like we're still waiting for those games. Mm-hmm. And they've been evolving their services and everything to change the way they do business in the industry. And it's obviously paying off for them in different ways. PlayStation is doing the same. We talked about this like last year. I remember us talking about PlayStation has to reevaluate the way they're doing business and evolve a little bit. And they're starting to do that now, but they're behind the curve in a few areas. Obviously, they have this tremendous revenue, this tremendous global market, like we said. But I see that PlayStation is now in the path of evolving, whether it be you look at their acquisitions, you look at them trying to create multiplayer games with live services, those types of things. But we're not going to see the fruits of that for a while yet. It's going to be a long time. So I think what we're witnessing two companies that are delivering what they can still amidst a pandemic, and we're seeing these gaps. And right now, both companies are in a gap at the moment, but Xbox is in a gap in terms of releasing any first party stuff. We saw that with PlayStation for a while, and I think that's going to be the case for a little while. It's not going to slow down. We're seeing sales. People are still very invested in these consoles and the services and gaming in general, but I don't think it's fair to expect big first party stuff every quarter from either company right now. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think to speak on consoles evolving, like look at what PlayStation has done over the past few months when it comes to bringing games over to PC and seeing that be successful. Talking about God of War, because when people are like, well, God of War is on, the PlayStation tiered service, everybody's already played that game already. Well, take a look at the Steam numbers, because the Steam numbers would tell you there's actually people that have waited. There are people that are just giving it a shot. So by breaking down those barriers, I think you're going to see PlayStation test the waters with this new streaming portion that they have with PlayStation Plus, and bringing more of their first party studios to PC, while at the same exact time, when it comes to backwards compatibility, they just what's the new team that they have?
It's game preservation.
Game preservation. Yeah. So they have this new initiative that is seemingly to bring more PlayStation or bring more PlayStation games into their service, which I told Luke, that means they're working on getting PS3 games on PlayStation 5 emulated, which is an extremely hard task because the PlayStation 3 was a god-awful system to code for. So you're seeing PlayStation start to take their legacy seriously. You're seeing them start to make and develop multiplayer games, which I'm still skeptical to see how that's going to turn out for them. You're seeing them go into different avenues with PC. You're seeing them taking the same routes that Xbox is doing, but the same routes, but just a little different direction. So I think both of them are in a really good spot. One got there a little sooner than the other, but I think in a few years' time, you're going to see a field that is very competitive between two of them, between both of them. And that's really awesome for us because you're going to see PlayStation fight for our dollar the way that Microsoft has, and you're going to see Microsoft up the ante as well in their gaming division. So I take this news going, I'm really excited because I think this could only be good news. In the moment right now, though, as a PlayStation fan, it sucks because I'm still looking at my watch going, okay, PlayStation, can you say something to me right now? I'm bored.
It's so funny you're saying that because in my mind, the counterpoint is like, yo, you got 2 heavy hitting exclusives this year. Xbox has got a 6-month battle pass coming in, like, so it's funny to see that. And I want to comment on the game preservation aspect.
Go for it.
I am ecstatic to see this because some of my greatest gaming memories of all time exist on the PlayStations 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved those systems, and I was the one PlayStation kid amongst Nintendo friends when they were all on 64s. I will never forget going to Target and thinking we were going to get a Nintendo 64, and the guy talked us into a PlayStation 1, and it was the best decision in the world. It was so cool. But it's funny because as we now enter this dry spell, and we're going to have gaps like this, to Ains's point, and we have had gaps already as a result of the pandemic and as a result of things being difficult, like getting just bottlenecked in terms of production and on development side, not in a hardware side.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of that, the back catalogs become that much more important to generate revenue. Yeah. And you'll see back compat sales happening. I feel like I see them more often. You'll see older games come into different subscription services or be re-spotlighted. And then you're going to ask other legacy games to last longer. Sea of Thieves is now in season 6. And from everything I've seen, Sea of Thieves is crushing it right now in terms of its content. They had the Disney stuff last year, but the most recent info drops they're doing and the story drops they're doing now monthly, crushing it. That's going to be called on to play a bigger role than I would have thought in 2022, May of 2020. You know what I mean?
That's where Halo will be next year.
It better be.
When it finally releases?
It sure shit better be.
I'm not the big negative guy on Halo right now. It feels like everyone wants to pile on, but
pin it. We're going to talk about it, okay? Because it's a great topic. Because I'm not. Well, I am negative on it. But game preservation is a huge step for Sony because I feel like they have the best legacy of the big 3 in terms of creating quality across every generation of games, whereas Nintendo has ups and downs, peaks and valleys, and Xbox, I think, tiered lower just across the board, and they were doing the best job at it. And so I love that news. I'm really excited also to see Microsoft get a win for all the work that it's put in since seemingly 2015, but really it felt like 2017 on. It seems like they've just been cranked to 11, trying to right the ship. And it feels like they did. It feels like they had, their ship was leaking water everywhere, and they're starting to finally like plug it. My question will be how complex and complicated that task is going to be once Activision is folded in 2023, which is probably about a year from now, I would guess, is when it gets finalized. June, May, June, somewhere in there, theoretically. If that deal
I heard it was this September from reliable sources.
Reliable sources. Ah, man, you're dealing right there.
I know.
The real talk is like that's going to be a big culture shift for them and another task. And if they're also looking based on who they're hiring, if they're going to be acquiring more people, even more people, that's another culture element they're gonna have to contend with. So it's cool. It's good news. I'm excited. It's all positives, but it's like, ooh, nice win. They deserve it.
Yeah. It does seem like PlayStation has, right, for the moment, PlayStation has the IP that I care for, right? Like you talk about Horizon, I think for this year right now is the either the 3rd or the 5th, I think it's the 5th best-selling game this year, coming out in February. You have Gran Turismo 7. Everybody hated. Nobody's playing it online.
I didn't hate it.
I didn't either.
Isn't it popular?
Number
Is it
two.
doing well or bad?
No, yeah, it's number
Doing
2.
very
It's the
well.
biggest North American launch since I believe 2. Or,
Gotcha.
right? Yeah.
It's
I
the biggest
legit-
ever, they
no.
said, for Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
Okay.
biggest
That's not my
ever.
world. I wasn't trying to be mean.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like PlayStation sales wise doing really well.
Yep.
And their games are still resonating. People are still flocking to them. And you take a look at like every time that there's a PlayStation 5 restock, a Horizon sells. It's back up on the top 5 list. It happened earlier in the month. Like it was like back at like number 2 or 3 on the list just because there's more PlayStation 5s. So I think one of the major things that we got to talk about is the fact that PlayStation still is in this place where I feel like the good press from Microsoft is hurting them a bit, but it's really getting more PlayStation 5s out here. I think Sony's biggest problem is they can't make enough of these right now. The system is just that clogged, and that's the thing that is going to hurt them. That's the thing that they really desperately need to solve, because it looks like Microsoft has solved it. Again, maybe next month there's no Xboxes to be sold, but right now it seems like Microsoft has kind of cracked the code. Now PlayStation's gonna have to find a way to get more PlayStation 5s out there. That's gonna be their biggest task. It's not really even like how do we compete with all these acquisitions out of Microsoft. It's just how do we get more PlayStation 5s out there.
Yeah, it's like 6 months ago. I don't know. It was a while ago that in an interview talking about dealing with the pandemic, that Phil Spencer said that they've made the most investments and the right investments they can to deal with the chip shortage to get Series X and S's out there. And I think what we're seeing is the result of that. And I don't think it's a big leap to think that Microsoft has put more money than Sony out to prioritize their production. It just seems like that's what's happened. And well, they're playing the game. They're playing the corporate game the way they can play it. I mean, it's business.
Yeah. Haha, success.
So, yeah. So it is interesting, though, because we don't know how long these shortages are going to last. We keep thinking we're at the tail end of it, and then something happens, and it seems like it could go on for a while. And if this continues, I was trying to think back in history if this has ever occurred, and I didn't used to obviously follow gaming like we do today, but it would be kind of interesting, if nothing else, if Xbox were to take a console sales lead merely because they could produce more of them and paid to produce more of them for like 2 or 3 years straight, which would be pretty funny, really.
It would be good in terms of kind of rebalancing scales, because it was so tilted last generation.
Yeah.
But I don't wish for that. Like I don't
either. I want everyone who wants one to be able to get one of either console. But
it's like what are Xbox players gonna do when Wolverine comes out? Bitch, I want to play Wolverine on my
Play
PlayStation.
Wolverine.
Like, shut up.
You idiot.
Who said that?
Some one of those goddamn morons.
Okay.
He's probably making sauce.
Probably fucking loser.
It's almost like you could just play games when they release. It's crazy.
I know, it's nuts.
I wonder how much xCloud will factor into their ability to bring people into their ecosystem. If Game Pass is really up, or was it Game Time on Game Pass is up like 45%? I just scrolled off of it. I should have kept it in front of me.
Dumb idiot.
Oh, Game Pass hours played is up 45% in the last 12 months. I wonder what the metric is on xCloud there, because I would not recommend xCloud as the sole way someone plays, but I feel like every other week we're seeing touch controls added to this game. And that's what happens is the dad who's a gamer knows that he can give little Johnny these kid games that are now getting into Game Pass. They got a lot of family friendly stuff dropping in. And now it has touch controls while you're waiting at the doctor's office. Here, play Ben 10. Here, play this. I wonder if that's a factor or not, or if it's just anecdotal, like we're making that up as podcasters.
I think a little bit of column A and B.
Probably, yeah. I was just going to say, I like their commitment to it, right? We don't know the full statistics of who's playing those specific things with touch controls. Obviously, Xbox does, but regardless of what those numbers look like, they're committed to it. And I think you are going to get those people, as with any product or service, right, who come in late. Like, I don't know who it is on my feed who's always been a Nintendo and PlayStation guy. And he posted he got his first Xbox ever last week or whatever, a Series S. And he sorry, he did my mind today. He subscribed to Game Pass, and he was like, he's been posting about how amazing his experience has been trying all these games and the Xbox UI, like all things he's never experienced before.
Sure.
And so as Xbox continues to invest in all of these different things, you're going to get those people who get into the Xbox ecosystem for the first time in 2024, and you've got 400 games that you can play on your phone with touch controls, and you've got 800 games in Game Pass, and it's a good ecosystem to be in.
I got a bad case of hiccups, boys. I think I might die.
I hope you do.
Just like PlayStation.
Oh, yeah, just like PlayStation. God damn it, Dad.
I wonder how much also xCloud on the consoles will be used. Because like that's a thing you can do now. I've never bothered.
Cloud
like
streaming,
you can just
you
can just play from the cloud. Halo Wars 2, everyone. That's what you should play.
I think it's good for trying games again. Like if you just want to try a game really quick if you have a slower download speed, right? You don't want to download a game for 5 hours to try it. You can just try it. Yeah. I don't know why you'd use it otherwise. If you're home and on your console, play locally, it's going to be the better experience. But I could see people wanting to just quickly try a game.
Now here's my next question for you, boys.
Sure.
I don't know if you had this on the dock or whatnot. What do you guys think's happening over there at the Ubisoft?
So for context for the listeners, a lot of things coming out about Ubisoft getting shopped around, getting looked at to be picked up by, oh gosh. Now I said for context for listeners, there was one major group that was ahead. Microsoft and Sony were not the major group.
BlackRock, is it?
That might be it. It was like a third party
investor. Or am I thinking of something else? I don't remember.
It wasn't Tencent. It wasn't Sony. It wasn't like your usual suspects here. It wasn't 2K.
Yeah.
But it certainly Ubisoft seems in trouble in a way that they were in trouble when Vivendi was trying to get them years ago.
It's Blackstone Inc. and KKR. Woof. Almost by a letter, one letter, Could have changed the whole thing.
I like that as Blackstone, and I said BlackRock.
You're close.
Yeah, and KKR Co. Our private equity looking like they may scoop this up.
Well, from what we don't know because, as usual, there's a lot of speculation, but the reports coming out are pretty negative about Ubi, right? That projects are floundering. They've announced all these games. We were talking about it in our chat the other day. They've announced all these different games and genres, yet nothing's getting delivered. Nothing has release dates. I don't know what's going on over there. It seems weird. They've got these other allegations they're dealing with around the sexual harassment stuff.
Got NFTs, which are the future.
NFTs, they're talking about it.
They're the future
over there right now. Get some leadership.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts at what's going on over there. And it's crazy to me that it kind of seems like nobody kind of wants them. Like, because I think Xbox is kind of busy right now with Activision. And I don't think they can make, but who knows? Crazy shit's happen.
Would you even want them to? Yeah,
and that's the thing. It's like, do you really want them? And like, if your PlayStation, that doesn't fit your portfolio that well. You already have a whole bunch of open world third person games. Do you want even more of them? And then just like how many, I think like Activision has about 5,000 employees, if I'm not mistaken.
10. No.
Oh, 10.
Way
Sorry.
more than that. Yeah.
10.
And
Ubisoft has 11.
And that's what I was going to say. Ubisoft, much smaller in the revenue department, yet has so many people. So you're talking a whole lot of overhead, a whole lot of management, like issues you have to resolve, pipelines that need to be fixing. Like this is such a huge undertaking because it seems like it really has. COVID has screwed this company, and I don't see how they walk out of it. It's just nuts that, yeah, they're that messy that it seems like nobody wants to touch them,
or may have wanted them but can't. Maybe they're busy. Like would Ubisoft have been a good substitute if Activision wasn't an option, right? For Xbox? And like the answer is yes, because
I think so.
The name Assassin's Creed sells in a similar but not as big a way as Call of Duty. Like that's what I was saying to Joe Ains the other day, was like the names of Assassin's Creed sell really well. Like that's gonna sell. It's an IP that's powerful.
So Far Cry is more powerful than people realize too.
Probably. Yeah, I think you're probably right there. the question is like you said, who wants?
Sorry,
it, you know?
Ubisoft may have up to 19,000 employees around the world.
Oh, I saw 11. Wow. Okay. Jeez.
19,000.
Yeah.
Like,
What are they doing?
They're making Just Dance 23, baby.
Exactly.
That must be it. Probably still on the Wii.
For the Wii, yeah.
Yeah, probably still on the Wii. Well, you know, as far as like what's going on there, Joe, I think it's wait and see. I would think I would be more interested if it was WB. That's the one
No.
I grant you that it's a DC thing, but it's also like you got Traveler's Tales who just put out the Lego game. You got oh my gosh, you got NetherRealm. You got WB Montreal. You got
don't they own Monolith?
Yes.
Okay.
Monolith
is really good. Yeah, very talented studio too.
So WB is the one I would want to survive, you know, and really sometimes I wish they would just get split up. You know what I mean? Like, all right, each studio survives, but let's divvy them up. I feel like it should work like that, but it doesn't. So.
No. Yeah, I'm interested to see where Ubisoft ends up, but I don't know why anybody like in the Xbox side would want them. It's just a whole lot of employees, a whole lot of legal tape you got to go through around the world. Like they are
powerful
they are
IP
an
if you can
undertaking.
manage it, but that's still scary to me.
Yeah.
And Ubisoft always plays ball. They'll put their games anywhere.
Anywhere.
You know,
it's crazy how the landscape is changing so much. Because even Embracer Group, like, what is it? Last week they're like, we're not done. We have like 63 studios. We want even more. It's like, Jesus, okay, settle.
They're building like this isn't a joke. They're building a metaverse. That's what's happening. And like, all right, that's not. I'm not you know Eloning up over here, Mark and Elon hanging out, but like that's what's happening as these are acquired. They're going to get umbrellaed. And then within those umbrellas, you're going to have an account that plays between them, you know?
Sounds great.
Yeah. Ains, would you want, last thing as we close this one out, do you want to see Ubisoft go to any of the big three?
I don't know.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't really care.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
I just don't care. PlayStation and Xbox, in my opinion, they have so much on each of their plates that they're already working on and building towards. And I'm not convinced, and I know we had a conversation on Bigcast about this. Hogue made some good points that even if the deal goes through for Activision and Blizzard with Microsoft, right? Microsoft and Xbox leadership has a lot to work through there. And it's not as easy as just buying a company, taking their IPs and saying, now we own this IP and everything's going to be great. That's not how it works. And Xbox in general hasn't shown yet that they can manage these studios effectively. And I that concerns me. So I don't know.
Pony.
And PlayStation's got to do the same. Now, PlayStation's been excellent at managing their studios over the past several years since PS3 era. But they're taking on new things now. They're taking on live service. They're buying new studios. They're taking on other things that they haven't done yet. So that'll be up in the air as well. So, I don't know. I don't really care. I would like to see. I'm one of those with Ubisoft games where, like, I enjoy them for what they are. Like, I enjoy Watch Dogs. I enjoy Assassin's Creed. I enjoy Far Cry. They're not my favorite games, but they're fun. I play them for fun. And if someone can come in and optimize those and bring us kind of a refreshed experience in those IPs, great. But I don't think it needs to be Xbox or PlayStation. It's certainly not going to be Nintendo.
Yeah.
This is Miyamoto speaking. I can assure you that Nintendo is not interested. End tweet.
That was so weird.
So weird. I wanted to make a dig so bad, but like I thought about it too late. Like I literally thought about it this afternoon going, this is Luke Lore. I suck.
You can imagine like the 70-year-old Miyamoto. This is Miyamoto. You know what I mean? Like sitting at his computer, click send. Millions of people are like, oh, you know.
And that's the thing, like now, like having a little bit of an eye in this industry and how those messages get crafted, there was someone behind that keyboard typing as Miyamoto spoke. They're like, we don't need this is Miyamoto, right? We could just talk. And he's just like, I want the people to know it came out of me.
You've lost me. I'm sitting here like staring at you guys. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about, but it's okay.
There's a 50% chance, Joe, that because it's Nintendo, Miyamoto, there's one password. and it's on one phone, and Miyamoto's got a little flip phone where he was typing it in 6 punches each. Ains, there was a Nintendo tweet that began, "This is Miyamoto," period, and then had a statement about something.
The Mario movie being delayed.
Right.
Oh, because he doesn't have a Twitter or something like they.
I guess so. He's always just like, so out of Nintendo America, is like, this is Miyamoto. Like, all right, bud. Yeah.
All right. So, gents, let's transition topics here. Halo Infinite. I feel like every episode we end up talking about it, and it continues to be the way the news cycle rolls. Shout out to episode 5, by the way, of the Paramount Plus. That was a good episode. First good one. Anywho, Halo, no, just messing up. Halo Infinite has announced its season 2 roadmap. A lot of good things on it, but very few people, including myself, able to get past the 6-month time window. A surprise. We thought it would be 3 months. Looks like season 2 is going to last for 6 months. We had a Sarko write in. He wants to know, will Halo Infinite?
Oh boy, I'm waiting for this one because I know it's going to be bad.
Will Halo Infinite fizzle out? Season 3 is a 6-month season. Will anyone still be around in November to care? Yeah. Forge as a beta. Will we get the Halo Infinite we should have gotten before they pull the plug on it from lack of interaction, figuring 3 to 4 years at best to get it where it should be? Well, I have a lot of thoughts on that, but I introduced the questions, so let's throw this one to Ains. Go for it, buddy. It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, there is. So I'm not as negative as others. So I said a few weeks ago before they were announcing the roadmap, I said if season 2 is a 6-month season again, that's a problem. And I still kind of stand by that. I think that's what everyone's jumping on, right? Like the sad thing is there were a lot of good updates in their roadmap and updates, but everyone honed in on 6-month second season, for partially for good reason. But what I would say is, I think that people, I don't know. I think people are being a little too aggressive. And I know we've said this before. It sounds like a broken record. But again, go back and look at Apex Legends. Go back and look at Fortnite. Go back and look at these giant games in their first year. And it's pretty sparse. And what we're seeing out of Halo is the game has been out for 6 months as we speak right now. And by the end of year 1, what we're saying is that they will have had 2 seasons. We have no idea the types of maps that are coming. We know there are 2 maps in season 2. We don't know if there's going to be more down the line. Season 3 is going to bring more. We don't know. But they're adding co-op. They're adding Forge. By all accounts, Forge is going to not only be revolutionary from the creation suite, right? But bring with it some of the Halo 5 functionality, which is like custom games browser and things like that, being able to play games with your friends on new maps. They're looking at, player created content. And then they're also, introducing 3 new modes now. We know Certain Affinities mode is supposed to come sometime at the end of season 2 or sometime during season 3. So what I'm saying is, if you look at it from a holistic perspective, if you look at, say, end of 2022, which would be just over a year post-release, right? You're going to have, from a multiplayer perspective, because that's primarily what we're talking about, you'll have 2 seasons going into the 3rd season. Who knows how many maps that'll introduce. You're going to have these 2 battle passes. They've made a lot of changes to the battle pass and cosmetics. You're going to have several new modes introduced, potentially this gigantic battle royale hybrid mode that Certain Affinity is working on. I don't know. It seems like a decent amount of content. Is it as much as we all want? No. Is it at the cadence we all want? Of course not. But it's also not like we're going into a year after release and they've added a new map or changed a map and they've added a few cosmetics that you can buy in the store. It's not like that. There's a lot more content being delivered in year 1 than I think we've seen out of even some other games, despite them being behind the curve. And I think we need to give them a little credit from being fully transparent about it, very communicative about it, and saying that they know that they're behind the curve and that they're adding resources to deal with that and to get up to speed. And I think Certain Affinities agreement, which I think we talked about, I don't know if I talked on Big Cast or previously here about that. I think we talked about on our last episode with the deepening of the agreement with Certain Affinity. And as I said previously, there is nobody you want working on Halo more than Certain Affinity. They are excellent. I mean, they have the best pedigree of anyone when it comes to Halo multiplayer. So I'll stop now, but I just think people are just, it's Halo. We know there's going to be a magnifying glass on it. We know there's going to get flack, and it's not perfect. No one's saying that. It can definitely be better. They definitely need to speed up. But I don't think it's nearly as dire as people are making it out to be. You know, Sark says 3 to 4 years. What are we talking about? We're 6 months. We're 6 months post-release. Like,
come on.
It hasn't been 3, you know, by the end of year 1, like I said, there's going to be a lot of content there and modes and availability. It's just, people are being too harsh. That's all it is.
Yeah. So first off, this isn't great. I think we were talking to Momo, had a great point of like, man, this game was remember when this game was supposed to launch, was it 2020? Like, or 2021? Like, remember that? Yeah. Man, that's crazy. Sorry, 2020. Yeah. Man, that's crazy. Like, what was that game going to look like?
Cyberpunk.
Probably.
Not good.
Yeah.
Probably. And so, to me, taking a look at the game, as it stands right now, I don't think it's done enough. I don't think that there's a lot of content here. Even like just the passing of season 2, where it's just like 2 maps. It's like, all right, cool. Anything else? Like, I'm not. I feel there's not enough to pull me back into Halo right now. So like, as I'm gonna bring my Xbox in for repairs, I'm not stressing it because I don't really feel the pull back into Halo. Now that will change when they bring those new modes in, right? When certain Affinity brings out their multiplayer,
the
sorry,
3 new modes they talked about last
Royale.
week are coming with season 2.
With season 2, okay, that's great.
Last Spartan Standing has a chance to be fun for us, Joe. In terms of
I don't. Real talk, I'm reading that going, no. Like,
it looks like Battle Royale Light, which
just give me Battle Royale. Don't that whole like 16 Spartans drop on a big team battle map of which we already know and already experienced. You have like 5 lives. No, just give me the real thing or don't give me anything. So for me, I don't feel the pull back into Halo right now, but that doesn't mean that by November, and I know it sucks. I'm like, in another like 6 months, that this ship isn't going to be corrected. I think it's not going to be 3-4 years. This is going to be by the end of this year. I feel like this issue should and will be resolved. I think you're going to have a really good roadmap once season 2 ends into season 3 of like, here's our cadence every 3 months. Here's what we're going to do, new modes and rotating maps and modes in and out. That I think that it'll be in great shape. Now, what you're going to need is you're going to need to like relaunch it. Like, this is going to need a soft launch. And what better way to give you a bit of a soft launch than introducing the real Battle Royale mode, which rumor has, I think, just broke the story. It's like gonna arrive at around October, November. And I think
for November on anniversary.
They said late season 2 or early season 3 is the target. Now we'll see what that means, of course, but apparently been in dev for over 2 years.
Yeah.
It better be ready. Shoot.
Yeah, and I think at that point we should know. But I guys, I swear to God, if by season 3 they're like, okay, guys, listen,
we're really trying.
Yeah, so we try to make ramen in a coffee pot. We broke everything. This is not great. Now, is it as bad to say does 343 know what they're doing? Should Halo go somewhere else? No, stop it. Knock it off with those.
Silly.
But
argument.
Yeah, no, I don't feel compelled to go back into Halo Season 2 as much as like I'm compelled to go back into like Fortnite or something like that.
So I'm stoked for season 2 because it's something to do and progress, and they made a lot of changes to the battle pass. To Ainsley's earlier point, there's a lot of really positive changes that have been made for season 2 that have been glossed over, I think, unnecessarily. We saw them quickly react to battle pass and shop concerns in season 1, and then nothing changed after a bit, right? Like, they changed kind of the biggest failures, and then it was what it was. We've seen a lot of things that are coming for season 2 that look great as far as the way they're handling battle pass progression, the availability of modes, and the way that you're going to progress, Spartan customization. All of that to me is very positive. So Joe, I am excited for that aspect because I like playing Halo. The gameplay's been there since day one.
Yeah.
I am very much of the camp that they need the battle royale. It is important. It is a relevant thing. It wasn't a fad. People enjoy it. And I do think they're going to get that soft relaunch, as it were. My hope is that the battle royale is only this generation hardware, but I don't know if that's a thing or a realistic expectation. But I think the way you do that is you bring in all of your Bethesda skins. Like if you got a Halo battle royale and you can have a Doomslayer skin, you can have Fallout armor, you can have Elder Scrolls inspired armor. I think that's cool. I don't like the timeline, but how many live service games launch well? And I'm not defending Halo, just to be clear. I'm very upset with the way this 6-month thing. But when I look at the live service game that has existed across any number of, whether it's Destiny, whether it's Sea of Thieves, whether it's Fortnite, whether it's No Man's Sky, all of these games that are living, their year one pretty rough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even when playable, still rough. So to me, Halo Infinite's year one looks pretty good, like compared to a lot of them. We're halfway through it, but it's on, the onus is on them. The onus is on me. They did deliver a campaign that I had a blast with. They did deliver some good many hours of multiplayer. Like we remember we were all posting like 40, 50 hours. Like, you telling me you're not happy with that experience? That's great. Needs to be more, sure.
I think I have over 300 hours in it.
You're a freaking monster. Good Lord. That's awesome. I mean, that's all. I'm not like knocking it, but like I want bot experiences, PvE experiences, whether it's Firefight, whether it's a Halo 5 style Warzone element, something where I can play and not get killed by sweats all day, but I can play with my buds. I want that.
The other thing that's interesting in their update, I was reading through because I knew I was forgetting something, is they said they plan on expanding the game's multiplayer storyline, referred to as multiplayer narrative events. These aim to place your personal Spartan in the center of an evolving seasonal storyline.
So remember, for any listener that's unaware, your Spartan is training at a facility in multiplayer, is training at a facility that Cortana could not wipe out. That's a narrative element. Yep. So perhaps we see them being brought into PvE elements where we're battling elites, or we're battling the Banished in some way, shape, or form. Maybe that's what they mean, where we go into time-limited modes of fighting Prometheans or some other element. I could see that being what they mean, but I don't know what else it could be. You know what I mean?
I don't know either. I don't know.
It's an odd choice, but I do think to go into the Forge aspects of it, Forge is going to be a persistent online thing. Sarko was talking about how it's like in beta. Well, yeah, in beta for a creation tool set that is meant to be persistent and evolve. You want that to be the case. You don't want it to be, here it is and you're done. That's not a thing that you want in this modern time.
Fortnite was in beta for like, what, the first year or two?
I think Fortnite's still in beta.
4 years?
Yeah. So
it was a while.
Yeah.
The other thing that we did mention too that they said is that they are doing a monthly release during season 2 of quality of life issues.
Yeah, that's good.
So
that's nice.
Every month they're going to have an actual release where they fix things that I guess, they addressed a bunch of them in their blog. If you go to the blog on season 2, there's a ton of info. But they're doing things like we talked about previously where if you buy the battle pass, you can earn all the money back, just like other battle passes. They've enhance the weekly drops and the things you can unlock. There's more free unlockables. They're evolving and learning. And
is there going to be a Bruno Mars skin? Or Ariana Grande?
Those are in Fortnite, Ains. Look at him, he was confused.
Yeah, I don't know what
those are in Fortnite.
I don't even know who those people are.
I don't care who they are. But my point being is that I think we all agree that there's a lot of things that should have already been there, that they were behind the curve on. No one's denying that. But at the same time, like the doomsayers who are just slamming 343 and acting like they're not doing anything and just knock it off. Come on.
Oh yeah, the game's not dead by any means. Like 20 million players at the gate, and of course some of those dropped out. They were trying the game, right? They were trying the game. And
Yeah.
some of those were single player people. Halo's a lot of things to a lot of different people. It's not meant to be one pillar. But nobody can say also that they've nailed it. You know?
Yeah.
No one can say they've nailed it, but I'm certainly happy with a lot of what I've played from Infinite. I want better. I want more. Who wouldn't?
Yep.
You know?
Agreed.
In one final talking point today, what was it? Oh, Sony is reportedly locking demos, 2-hour demos behind a paywall for their PlayStation tier stuff.
Boy.
Can I just say real quick, this seems like something that's been normal in the PC marketplace, and that there are ways that you can refund things on Xbox after 2 hours if you wanted to do that. I don't think the doom and gloom that's surrounding this stuff is nearly what some people are making it out to be. It's odd to look at on paper, but in practice, it doesn't seem to be the worst, at least on the consumer side. Developer side may be different. What do you guys think?
Oh man, there's a lot to unpack here because I don't know if that's a 1-to-1 comparison.
Okay.
So like the way Steam does things is like, hey, you could play a game for like, I don't know, an hour or two. If you don't like it, send it right on back.
Okay.
Where again, I'm not a programmer, not a dev whatsoever, so I have no idea if they actually have to cut out a chunk of the game and put it in a separate place, or if there's like a line of code that says, hey, here's a timer after 2 hours, like you're downloading the whole game, but after 2 hours, it's done. I don't know. That's where I'm a little confused by, because if it's like just like simply like a line of code going, and after 2 hours, if you're on this, you can't play it anymore, or send you back to the home screen, that's fine. But if devs actually have to take time and budget around this thing, that genuinely sucks. It's not going to suck for the big AAA games that we're all excited for, right? Or maybe we're on the fence for. So like, if you're on the fence for Tiny Tina's, it's awesome. Like they're going to have the budget. They're going to prioritize around that. That's fine. But if you're a game like Sifu, where theoretically you could beat the game in 2 hours, but nonetheless, that's a $40 game. PlayStation's allotted thing is like, if you are a game over $35, you have to have a demo in this premium pot. So to me, that's going to undercut a lot of indies that really do think they're worth that $40, $50, game. But now they have to maybe skew a little lower just because of PlayStation. That's going to mean, what their budget's going to look like. So I don't know strictly just because, or I don't know the effect that this is going to have strictly because, I'm not a developer, but on paper, it does sound weird. And also on paper, it doesn't seem nearly as bad as what others are suggesting. But the last thing, and I'll get off my high horse here, is it's still weird that you're locking it behind the most expensive tier. Like, that's nuts to me.
Yep.
I truly understand if like this was like the base tier. Like, hey, enter in and you get this. That sounds like a nice little carrot on the stick. But to lock it behind the $18 a month thing and it's not technically $18 a month, but you get it. The most expensive tier, that's just bonkers. That just doesn't make any sense. And I don't like that whatsoever. I don't know. What say you, Ains?
I pretty much agree with you on all fronts. I think we need to see what actually, because right now none of this is official, right? This is what we're hearing. Am I right there?
Yes.
Like PlayStation hasn't come out and detailed this, right?
Correct. But Nibelian and a few very like
prominent
the people that you would expect to say stuff and it be accurate have said it. It's odd. Go ahead.
It is odd. I agree with you, Joe, around it depends on how they're structuring this for developers and publishers. I don't know. PlayStation, generally speaking, in recent years has been pretty good on that front. I can't imagine them at this point in time, especially doing something that would purposely harm some of their smaller studios. That doesn't seem like they would do that. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. I can tell you that this doesn't really give me an incentive. Does it incentivize you guys to be the highest tier on PS Plus?
No.
No, but I'm biased in that I have Game Pass where try it. You know what I mean? Don't like it, move on.
Yeah.
So because it's not a one-to-one service, but it is a service that I subscribe to and have available in the gaming space.
Yeah.
You know, and it's also odd because demos in the 360 era sold games. You know, like you had demos, but then
I think that's Joe's
free.
point. Why are you logging this behind the highest tier when that doesn't seem to make any financial sense? I mean, obviously they know something we don't, I guess, but I don't know. That's kind of why I asked the incentivized question. Like, if you're locking behind the highest tier, you obviously think it's an incentive for people to subscribe to the highest tier.
Yeah.
But well, anecdotally, I don't know anyone that's saying, "Wow, I got to subscribe to Platinum because of those demos." Like,
I saw some PlayStation fanboys. You wouldn't be surprised who was saying that. But yeah, to me, the thing that incentivizes me is the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2 classics that are going to come to the service.
But nobody plays old games, Joe. I'm sorry to let you know.
I know, right? Jim Ryan's a real lion piece of shit. So
why did that beep?
You don't know?
Do that?
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, so if I could say like me and Luke's mom, and you would,
dude, beeps make everything funnier.
That's awesome. I love it.
Dude, there's nothing better than an edited show of Chappelle's show where they beep it out because it's the funniest thing.
And it's weird because the morning after she on the bed, and I thought that was a really weird thing Luke's mom did.
God, everything about Amber Heard is awful, but man, the memes have been great.
Memes have been great. Sorry, we're laughing at your misery there, Johnny. That being said, the thing that incentivizes me are the PS1, PS2 classics that are coming to the surface, and if they have like trophy support, dude, I'm so in, and they know that. They'll announce that soon.
Don't give that face. You know darn well if achievements were in old games like from Xbox original, you'd be in there. You would not be.
No.
I call shenanigans.
Now he's he's one of these old timers. They're like, I remember playing my Atari 2600. We didn't have achievements or trophies. We just had a stick on a hoop and we loved it.
We should have an achievement and trophy discussion one day.
Ball on a stick.
I am so over them. Like I'm so far over them. I don't understand why people go for them.
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
So like you have you 100%ed Elden Ring?
No.
Don't even have the desire to.
Casual. I don't understand him.
I still have the desire to jump back into Elden Ring.
So we don't have to get into it right now, but like I posed a question to someone the other day. I was like, I have like 160,000 gamer score, something like that, right?
Sure.
If tomorrow that was 300,000, what difference would it make?
All the difference.
None.
It means I'm a real
literally
gamer.
Nothing.
Yeah.
If you lost your account tomorrow and you had to restart, wouldn't that bother you?
How is that the same thing? What? Restart what? Achievements?
Yeah.
If your account was gone, Porsche Power was gone, and you had to start over.
I don't know what you mean by start over.
Meaning your achievements were 0 and gone.
Okay.
If that number was gone and you didn't have Porsche Power anymore, would that bother you? Because those achievements are a legacy to your gaming.
No. There's definitely some that like I remember fondly. Like I have all the VidMaster achievements in Halo 3, right? And I did those in code. Why would he ask a question and then leave?
What was the aim of that?
This is what we deal with Luke.
What's he doing now?
I don't know.
Oh, there he is.
I don't know what's going on with this guy.
Blinking behind me. It was bothering me.
All right, okay.
No, but there's definitely ones I remember fondly, right? And I have a nostalgic kind of viewpoint on. But generally speaking, I'm playing this game that I kind of like, but I have to go get these 6 trophies to get a platinum before I can play another game. I'm like, what? Why? You're literally spending hours to say you have this little icon that's meaningless.
It's cool.
I just don't get it.
I based my whole show around that concept. You son of a.
I again, it's me, but
Yeah.
I think it is an interesting discussion. I really do, because I there was a time where like, oh, getting achievements I really enjoyed, and then like as I reflected on it over time, it's like, why am I going to spend 5 hours playing a game to get these imaginary things when I could spend those 5 hours playing a different game that I enjoy more? It just makes
He
no
makes
sense.
so much sense, and I hate that he does. Because I used to be the same way. Platinums to me is like, that is, I love this game so much, and this is just this is a token to how much I love that thing.
I do get that, because I platinum God of War and I platinum Horizon, the first one.
Yeah.
Well, I do get that. What I'm more referring to are the people who, like, every game they play, they're like,
Right.
well, I've got to get to this guide now because there's 6 more trophies to get the platinum before I can play a different game. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Graham, you have a problem. You need help. We're here to help you.
I joke with Graham about his trophies, but there's people out there that have to, like, they can't move on until they get all the achievements or trophies. And it's like, you think of all the time you're wasting doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me.
It's not a waste if you're fulfilled.
That said,
but that's my point. Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't that time be better spent playing a game you enjoy more? I see people literally like, oh God, I got to get these last 3 trophies. Like, it's a chore you have to do. Like, what?
Well, then you can put the game down and be done and move on. That's otherwise they feel
You're
like it's
done.
nagging. But
You're already done.
They feel like it's nagging them to come back.
That's what I mean.
They don't feel done.
It's like a chore that they feel they have to
Ains
do.
got very impassionate. Like he was in Nancy
telling
Pelosi's office for a sec.
You don't have to do this chore. You have an option. Like, put the game down. Go play something.
Well,
fun.
it's like, so like with like a From game, I beat it, and then I decide if I really, really like it enough, and I'll go back in, and that's when I'll do the platinum stuff.
And I can understand that more than the people like every game they have to get a.
Yeah, no, not every game. Or I'd go crazy. That said, though, I am very short on time. So, do you want to get to questions?
Sorry for the.
We read
the
Sarko's
off
thing.
ramp there.
Okay. Yeah.
We read Sarko's thing, and then someone asked a snarky question, which was funny, and I laughed, but I don't have it in front of me.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
there
was
was a
it like
comment on a recent one that made fun of Joe and said I agree with Ains, but I forget what it was about.
That comment's not important to me.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Just a quick little factoid. Microsoft says that 10 million people have streamed games on xCloud. That's impressive. 10 million people have streamed it. That's more than I thought. Because that to me, it's a niche thing.
I would love to see recurring streaming though.
Yeah, it's probably way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, fine, like test that stuff. Make it work for me for 10 years from now.
Yep.
Gentlemen, I think that'll about do it. What you got for us in the future there? Ains, let's start with you, buddy.
So congrats on 25 episodes, boys. It's always fun. Love chatting with you guys. We always have a good time. This week, so Rogue Legacy 2, like I already said, that review will be out later this week. Look for that. If you want to check out our Patreon, Season Gaming's Patreon, I published my conversation with Game Informer editor-in-chief Andrew Reiner last week. So that is up for supporter and producer patrons right now. You can check that out. And I think later this week, my conversation with ACG will go live for the whole community as well. So you can check that out. If you missed PAX East, Steve was there covering it for Season Gaming. He has 3 separate roundups of games to check out from PAX. You can check those out on the site as well. So a lot of good stuff going on.
I was living vicariously through him and Kyle that whole weekend.
Yeah, me too. It was cool.
Next year,
We've had a
maybe.
really
Next
good time.
year. Also, I want everybody to thank me about this overlay that I made and the logo of which I made. Everybody thank me.
Way better than the last one.
Thank you. Humble brag.
Yeah, good job, bud.
Listen, it was a lot of hard work. I poured in the midnight oil, as it were, and I'm taking full credit.
As long as you get the thumbnail in time this
I
week.
no longer like it.
Dude, honestly, I did do a good job on this logo, and I want me to know that I really I love like the little wire that comes across. Like, it's nice. I really dig it.
Yeah,
I did like when I made it that night when I was, right after
I might hit up Joe for a rebrand on XEP.
You never know. You never know. No, so you can find me, of course, as always.
No, you're last. You're last. 'Cause you gotta do the thing.
Oh shit! Oh right, yeah. Go for it, Luke.
All right. I on the most recent episode of the Xbox Expansion Pass, which is where you can find my content, I had IGN's executive editor of reviews, Dan Stapleton, on to talk about the challenges of being one of the biggest websites in the world and having people, attack your reviews regularly, arguing about what a review is, whether or not you're paid off, that kind of stuff. It was super, super awesome to kind of hear his insight. Prior to that, I had the Shredders developers on, and they gave some kind of cool info about why that game is and isn't exclusive, and or is exclusive but isn't going to be getting a sequel, I should say. And on upcoming on Season Gaming, you will see an interview with the developers of you just psyched me out, and I forgot the title. Oh my god! Godfall. Of Godfall. I have a written interview with the developers of Godfall.
Oh, nice.
Probably early next week, based on when their timeline is lining up. And Future XCP has a cool voice actor coming on, so that's gonna be fun too.
That's great.
Yeah, that's it. For XCP.
Did you tell Dan that I gave him $50 to rate the trophy room 5 stars? Get it? Because all IGN's reviews are bought. Remember?
Oh, Dan Stapleton. I was like, Dan Rodriguez? What?
I had no idea what you were talking about. Yeah.
Ah, damn it. That joke fell flat.
Really, really bad. If you don't use the beep on your outro, I will be very upset because I love beep.
You weren't supposed to say it out loud. That's why I put it in the private chat.
That's the name of
It's in the private chat
thing, dude. Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Ah, you dummy. That's why I did a little
How do
laugh.
we do shows with this guy?
I have
was
no
in the middle
idea.
of talking. I wasn't going to read your comment while I was talking. God, honestly, the
Can't
Ball
do
Brigade
both.
is driving me nuts this week, listeners.
Yeah.
They want to storm one capital, they want to storm another.
It's true. I know.
Isn't there a convoy you need to be at, Ains?
Right. Yeah. Is it? Yeah. Are you a little jealous that Gene's getting canceled and not you, Ains?
Yeah. Ains talked to Colin, but it's Jason Clark.
All right. I had so much respect for you, Gene. You done did the thing.
I did have
a conversation with a guy.
I mean, I'm nowhere near the audience of Gene, but I did have a few people that actually commented like, Ains, I don't know why you're doing this interview.
I was one of those people, and then you explained it to me, and then I listened to it, and I was like, oh, I'm being a turd. I'm being one of Amber Heard's best works. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And then, as I watch other people ask the same questions, they're becoming the very thing they swear
right?
they weren't.
Dude, I saw one person for 5 hours harass this man. Let it go.
Harass
people.
Gene.
Oh god.
Going after
It was a 5 hours. I'm like, guys, come on now.
He's a
Enough.
guy in the video games media, interviewed by a guy also in video games media, and not everyone agrees with them. Like, there's some bad people doing great things and good people doing bad things, and everywhere in between that. Like, I don't know. Maybe you're a little hypocritical if you work for Tencent. Shut up.
Oh! Oh, Jesus. Anyway, all right. So Capital next time this year, Janet 6 will be there. Or B Square. I'll be the shaman this time around. Even Shaman 2.0. Remember that guy?
I do.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You took a
I was
picture
like,
of him,
I have
remember?
no idea what you're talking about. I got you.
All right, everybody. That's enough of that rant. Everybody, you can find me over at the Trophy Room, my PlayStation podcast. I want to thank everybody sincerely. We are at over 650 plus reviews.
Not a single one of y'all
iTunes
could have given
and
me one of
Spotify.
those reviews. You gave them to Joe. He did. What did he do? He just made a successful show for years.
Yeah, exactly.
Beep.
Consistency. All right. So with all that said, you know where to find me. I'm Mr. Babbitt, Trophy Room, blah, blah, blah. Keep that co-op.